Hi friends, Jen here with Serenity Hill Farmstead. Today we're in the cabin that is going to be our Herbal Education Center. We've got a chunk of the flooring down, and do not mistake this as progress because this has been like this for a while, but I moved everything over here. So you can see all the stuff over here. And we're gonna continue the flooring, so that's gonna get done, and then we're gonna have insulation in here, and we're gonna have walls up, and then shelving will go up, and then we'll really get this thing looking like just such an amazing apothecary and herb store, and it'll be super exciting. But I am in here instead of being outside on the porch because it is crazy windy, and the sun is coming like right at just like not a great angle. So I decided to come in here because we came out here to film. Kids are doing chores and playing with chickens and running around being kids. So I'm gonna come in here and talk to you. The thing that I wanted to talk to you about today is stress. It is inevitable for everybody. And this time of year with the holidays, people have a lot of holiday stress if they're hosting and that's a stressful situation for you, or if you're seeing family you don't really get along with, or just hard times during the holiday, missing loved ones and things like that. So it's a stressful time. And then you've also got work stress, financial stress, paying for holidays and things like that. There's just so many life things that impact our stress levels this time of year. Not to mention the change of season. So we'll be going from fall into winter. And I don't know about you, but for me, summer to fall is a rough one. Fall to winter is also really hard for me. So that is more stress, and stress impacts us so badly. Monday night, I had a live. If you are new here, I do live chats about herbalism, varying topics, and always open for Q&A. So if you're interested in those, you've got lots of burning herbal questions you want to ask me, definitely come join us. It is Monday nights at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and you can come join the fun. So we talked this past week about adaptogens. Adaptogens is a class of herbs that helps you adapt. The answer is in the name there, adaptogens. Adaptogenic herbs are herbs that help you support your system during times of stress. Now, there are a ton of adaptogenic herbs, and I'm going to put the link down for my favorite adaptogens book. It's called Adaptogens in Medical Herbalism. If you're the kind of person that wants to really see the science behind it and wants to see the proof in it before you really dive into herbalism, this is a great book for you to look at. So again, what are adaptogens? They are herbs that help support your system during times of stress. Now we're going to talk about 5 herbs today, 5 adaptogenic herbs that are my personal favorite. Does that mean you're going to run out and go get all these herbs and they are going to be perfect in the answer to your prayers? No, it's not, because now they could be, but it's not likely that every single thing that works for me wonderfully is going to be perfect for you, because we're all individual, we're all different, and our bodies all respond differently to all kinds of treatments, whether they are conventional or herbal. These herbs are very popular herbs. They're very easily to get. They're grown in a lot of zones. So if you are someone that wants to garden, that wants to grow your own herbs, which I highly recommend, I may be a little biased because we are technically an herb farm, but you get some amazingly potent and just beautiful herbs that is hard to get if you're purchasing them online. So I am going to share with you my 5 favorites for adaptogenic herbs to help support my system and how I use them. The first herb I'm going to talk about is rhodiola, and this is an herb that comes in a root. So there's going to be different preparations for it. You can use it in tea, but as a root, remember, we're going to use this more as a decoction. I really like to use this as a tincture because it is a root, just because for me, using things as a decoction is super time consuming, and I currently in my season of life do not have time to make decoctions and infusions and then blend them together, and that's a lot of time to have a cup of tea. And I just, with 4 children and homeschooling 3 of them now and running a farm and having an online business, just don't have the time to really put that kind of energy and time into a single cup of tea. But rhodiola is what we call an adaptogenic tonic. Tonic, of course, meaning you can take it daily. It's something you can take long-term without any side effects. It's good for you. And usually tonic herbs are herbs that actually work better the longer they're in your system. The more they're in your system, the more consistent you are, the better the results you're going to get with it. And the awesome benefits about rhodiola is it helps improve your mental clarity, it helps improve your memory, it helps reduce your stress, and it helps with your energy production. So you're gonna find this as I'm talking about these herbs, this is a common thing. With adaptogens, one of the benefits, side effects, if you will, is that it gives you an energy boost if you're consistently using them right. So we have to talk about the properties of this herb too. So it is technically considered an antidepressant herb. It's considered an astringent herb. And again, the adaptogenic herb. So we've got those properties. Using rhodiola as an antidepressant, you have to be careful when you're using any herb as an antidepressant that it doesn't interact with the type of depression you have. There's so many different types of depression. Depression's so hard. It could be seasonal depression, it could be clinical depression, it could be depression as a response to a trauma. It could there's so many different varieties of depression. Depression could be secondary to, another condition. It could be from pregnancy. It could there's so many. So you really have to talk to your medical team to decide if using any adaptogen is the right choice for you when it comes to mental health. And I'm just going to leave that blanket disclosure now because you're going to hear this again with other herbs that I'm talking about. And that's just kind of the statement. If you hear something that has an antidepressant property in an herb, any herb, not just adaptogenics, you really need to do your research to make sure it's something that's appropriate for you. And it is never, ever, ever a substitute for your depression medication. It's something that may be able to be used in conjunction with it. Ashwagandha, another obvious adaptogenic, it is really, really good for stress management. So if you are having the type of stress that's making you anxious and it's just zapping your energy, it's totally depleting your energy, ashwagandha is a good option for you. Its properties are that it is an adaptogen. It's also an anti-inflammatory. It is a nervine and it is an antidepressant. So it works on the nervous system. So that nervous anxiety, if you have nervous anxiety that affects your gut too, great herb for you to take. Again, it's something that you can take regularly, safely. There are a couple contraindications with it. If you are pregnant, you want to avoid it during your pregnancy. I have not seen any indications for avoiding it during breastfeeding, but you're going to have to do your own research on that to decide what you're comfortable with. And then the other contraindication is if you are sensitive to nightshades, okay? So if you have issues with potatoes, tomatoes, eggplants, and peppers, you may have an issue taking ashwagandha. It just has to do with plant classification and what family it's in, and may have issues. So as someone with an autoimmune arthritis, it is suggested to stay away from nightshades because nightshades can irritate, can increase your inflammation. It can irritate your condition. In my situation, that's not necessarily the case. Potatoes are not a good choice for me though, but I can take tomatoes. I can eat tomatoes. I have no problem. I can eat peppers. I love peppers and I have no issues with that. And eggplant, I eat very, very little of, but I've never had an issue with it in the past. But I can take and do take ashwagandha consistently and have no issues. So ashwagandha, definitely in tincture form. It is a root. That's what you're going after. It's easy to grow. When you're harvesting it though, you are after the root. So you're gonna really dig up underneath it to get all of the root system out. I'm gonna read you a little sentence from this. I'm not giving all the information away because that would not be kind to the publisher and author of this book. But in this Modern Herbal Dispensatory, again, there'll be a link for this down in the description box. Very affordable book. Highly, highly recommend. But there is a little sentence in here that I just feel like this is great, okay? It is used as a supportive herb for recovery from debilitating diseases. It is a wonderful herb. So if you have a disease like mine, if you have autoimmune disease, if you have any kind of debilitating disease, okay, the way it works with its properties, again, nervine, antidepressant, anti-inflammatory, is it helps tone your system. It helps heal your system. It helps your body to be able to recover better. It helps you be able to better manage any stresses that are coming with change and with those illnesses. This is one of those herbs that is widely sold. You can get it at Walmart. It comes in a bottle like this big. I mean, you can get smaller ones too, but it comes in a bottle like that big. It's like $12 or $13 for 120 gummies, I think it is. And that's what we would purchase before I was making ashwagandha tincture. Of course, ashwagandha tincture, way more potent. You need less of it, and it is way more effective. But it is effective as a gummy too. So if that is all that is in your budget right now to do, you don't want to go through the whole thing. You don't want to go out and purchase something online. You'd rather just try it and purchase it locally before you do the whole online and trying to source it from someone else. You can definitely get that, and in our experience, it has been effective. But there's also like preservatives and sugars and things in there and dyes that kind of work against it a little bit. So, do with that what you will. But you can purchase it. It is more cost effective to either purchase it as a tincture because it lasts you way longer, or the best way to do it is just to make it yourself. So you can spend, $12 to $20 on a small bag of ashwagandha, buy a small bottle of vodka, just get 80 proof, and you make it yourself, and then you have like a quart or more of it, and that'll last you a really, really long time. One more note about ashwagandha is in men, it is really good for any kind of reproductive issues. So if they're having any kind of sexual dysfunction, or if there is any signs of lowering of testosterone, ashwagandha is excellent for that. It is really helpful in improving fertility in men. There's a lot of studies out there. You can do your research on that, but I've seen a lot of studies about that, increasing testosterone. Now, there's many different testosterone levels, so this is not a blanket statement against like, it's gonna fix your testosterone issues, but it does work in increasing some testosterone levels. Now, in men, if they're having issues with testosterone, it's not always a physical issue. It's not always sexually related. It can be a blood pressure issue. It can be a cholesterol issue. It can be mood issues. It can totally be mental health related. Like there's so many other signs. Testosterone is like the driving hormone for men. Muscle loss, weight loss, and you're just like, what happened to the tone of my body? Like this is not making sense. It could be your testosterone levels. So definitely have those checked first before you just jump into, we're gonna try ashwagandha, because it could be something else. So, and it could be a type of testosterone that is not going to respond that way, and you may need to do something a little different. But keep that in mind. Ashwagandha is definitely helpful for increasing testosterone levels and sexual dysfunction in men. This next one I'm going to talk about is one that I get really excited about. First off, I need to stop saying that. I need to preface talking about the herbs by, this is great and I love this one, because I say that about everything because I love them. And I'm only going to talk to you about teach you, bring you herbs and like all this information about herbs that I have personal experience with. If there's something that I don't have personal experience with, I'm going to tell you. This is a new herb for me, and I think I have in a couple of videos. This is a newer herb for me, or this is totally new, but I'm trying it and this is why. These herbs I'm talking about today, tried and true, love them, love them, love them, love them. The one, I'm looking at my notes here, astragalus. Oh, how I love you, astragalus. If you have autoimmune disease and you want to support your immune system through the cold and flu season, astragalus is your friend. It is an immune modulator. So it takes your immune system, who may be all over the place and doing all of this because you got exposed to something and you have a spike, and then you're sick, so it's suppressed, and then you have autoimmune disease, so it's really, really high, and then you are on biological therapy as a pharmaceutical treatment for your autoimmune disease, so you dip down low and like crash your immune system. If you are dealing with that, take astragalus. Take it. It's so helpful. It helps modulate, keep your immune system doing this instead of this. It's fabulous. So one of the warning signs for it though, and this one, I had to dig for this when I was looking for it, because I really went and dug into astragalus because I didn't want to take anything that was going to make my autoimmune disease worse, or that was going to cause any kind of conflict with my Humira that I take. those are my two biggest things. I didn't want to block the usefulness of the Humira if I was going to be putting something that toxic into my body. And I didn't want to make my disease go all crazy and dramatic. We didn't want that. So the only thing that I have found, and I am still digging into this on the why behind it, but I have found things saying do not take astragalus if you have an acute illness. Now, in books, like even in this book that I'm referencing to you guys today, I don't see that in there. And there's several herbal books that I have that I don't see that in there either. I'm still digging as the reason as to why I'm seeing that in places, but just for my own, okay, better safe than sorry, especially with my underlying things. If I am sick, I do not take it. But when I am on the mend, then I'll start taking it again. Other than that, I have seen no contraindications or warnings with it. It is an adaptogen, of course. It is an antiviral. It is a hypotensive, okay, so it can help balance your blood pressures too. And it is, what is the word? It is anti-cancer and chemo supportive, I can't remember the name of it. If you are taking chemotherapy, it is a hepatoprotectant, so it protects your liver against toxins building up. So chemotherapy, super highly ultra toxic, right? It's going in to kill cells, but unfortunately that also means it's killing good healthy cells along with it because, you know, they can't differentiate. So when you're in that state, astragalus is helpful to protect your liver against the accumulating toxin buildup, and it helps to support healthy healing, healthy function and healing of your liver. The reason that I got into taking astragalus is because I read in this book that it can be helpful with allergic asthma, which is what I have. So taking that as part of my daily regimen, definitely a must for me. This next one I'm going to talk about, I put into every single cup of tea that I have, and that is Tulsi, also known as holy basil. Now there are many different types of Tulsi, but they all have these properties. These properties are amazing with this herb. It's so versatile. It tastes fine. It's got a great flavor profile to it. It is a great supportive herb. It's a great, main herb if you're going to make it and it just really be the focus of things. You can take it as a tincture, you can drink it as a tea, you can drink it as a cold infusion. There are many different ways that you can use Tulsi. And again, it's a basil, so you can use it fresh. Now, it doesn't have that same culinary flavor as like Italian basil is going to have. It's different, it looks different, but it has a fabulous flavor to it, and it's super beneficial any way that you take it. Tulsi is specifically really helpful in the cardiovascular system, in toning the cardiovascular system and protecting the cardiovascular system from stresses. So when you're stressed, what happens to you? Your heart rate goes up, your blood pressure goes up, you get these stress headaches, your cholesterol could go up if you have high cholesterol to begin with. You have all these circulation problems. If you have peripheral neuropathy, which is a condition very common in diabetics, but many different people with autoimmune diseases can have them too. If you're severely overweight, then that can happen in you too. And it helps improve your circulation. Is this going to fix your peripheral neuropathy? No, it's not, but it is supportive. So it can help you. It can help support your system so that you can decrease your symptoms. And that in conjunction with other treatments can help take like your treatment to what would be here with just your pharmaceuticals and can boost it up a level so that you have better benefits and counteract the negative parts of your pharmaceutical medications that can cause toxin buildup in us. It's also very helpful in diabetics to stabilize your blood sugar levels. So in diabetics, if you're pre-diabetic, if you have a family history of diabetes, you should be taking this herb. It is just really, really good. I've heard many doctors that I've worked with, that I've gone to see, that my family has gone to see, that my family has worked with. We're a medical family, so it runs in the family. That if you are predisposed to having diabetes, if you have risk factors, if you have a strong family history, in order to prevent or put off developing diabetes, of course, I'm talking about type 2 diabetes, not type 1 diabetes, because that's an entirely different thing, then you should eat and treat yourself as if you are a diabetic to help keep your pancreas happy and functioning for as long as absolutely possible. Tulsi is a great herb to help you do that, to help support your pancreas and help support your blood sugar. Tulsi is also something that is extremely helpful in managing immune responses and excessive allergic reaction. I am going to say, if you are having an allergic reaction, you want to reach for the Benadryl or your EpiPen, not your cup of Tulsi. But taking Tulsi regularly can help reduce your symptoms. So if you have a ragweed allergy this time of year in the fall, they're awful. If you have an allergy to cats or dust, or if you have hay fever in the spring, that is a good herb to be taking when that time of year is coming, because it can help prepare your system. So hopefully your reaction to things won't be as severe. And it just helps systemically. It helps your digestion. It helps your memory. Again, it helps with your mental acuity. It helps you be able to concentrate. It helps your general circulation, like we mentioned. It's just an overall really, really strong adaptogenic herb to take. If you're looking for one herb to start working with, I would highly suggest starting with Tulsi. And the last one I'm going to talk about is nettle. And you guys, if you've been around for any length of time, you know my deep love of stinging nettle. Now, I'm going to say stinging nettle because there are so many different types of nettle out there, and stinging nettle, they all have properties, right? All these herbs have properties, but stinging nettle is the one that is the adaptogen. Stinging nettle is the one that has those strong anti-inflammatory properties. Stinging nettle is going to be the one that you're going to harvest in early spring, and you're going to bring inside and you're going to saute to get rid of the stinging part, because nobody wants to put that in their mouth. That would be an awful experience. But having that fresh spring nettle is super nutritive to your body. It is really good for building your blood and your bones and your whole musculoskeletal circulatory system. It's just very, very nutritious for you. And especially if you are anemic or you have generalized weakness or any kind of condition that just zaps your strength and your energy, nettle really helps build you back up. It is a tonic herb. It is an adaptogenic tonic herb, so it's something that you can take daily, you can take it regularly, and you don't have any side effects. Now, there is actually, I take that back, there's one side effect with nettle, and that is if you are going to harvest it yourself. Okay, if you are going to harvest nettle yourself, I would highly suggest wearing good thick gloves, long sleeves, long pants. Do not wear sandals when you do this, because they call it stinging nettle because it stings. It has tiny hairs on the leaves, on the whole shaft of the plant, everywhere as a defense for the plant, basically, and it will sting you. So it's not like you touch it and it's like, whoo, that stings and it hurts and you have an instant response. The hairs, these little hairs that are super soft, get up underneath your skin, and it's like this stingy, itchy, slightly burning kind of feeling. It's like stinging and itching, really. Like the stinging, it's like a gentle stinging that makes you itch, makes your skin kind of swell a little bit, and it makes you a little crazy, okay? Because it lasts a while. Their responses to that, like I've seen a lot of people use duct tape, where if they get into it, then they'll put duct tape, like take a piece of duct tape, put it on your arm in the same direction you were, like if you're reaching into, this is gonna be so hard to explain. Okay, here's the plant. If you're reaching into the plant, you're going like this, okay? So you're gonna put the duct tape on like this, same direction as the hairs would be entering, and then you rip it off the opposite direction, and it helps pull the hairs out. You want to do this as soon as possible before skin irritation happens, because if skin irritation happens, then you could seriously damage your skin, so you don't wanna do that. But I've seen people do that, and it's super successful. If you do have too much skin irritation, or you're talking about dealing with kids that get into a nettle patch, that would be rough. Oatmeal baths are really good. Chamomile's very good. You want to stick to your soothing herbs to help calm that down. They do eventually come out within a day, and it's okay. Your skin pushes them out, you move on with life. If you are handling nettle and you see some and you're not prepared and you're just like, oh, I have to get it, I don't care about it, there is a way that you can harvest your nettle. Water bottle for prop. Okay, so here's your nettle. You're going to grab it hard and fast, okay? Or grab from the top, hard and fast. But make sure you're not sliding your hand or your fingers around, because then it'll get in there. But just grab hard and fast, yank up, bend off, whatever you're gonna do, snip. And then you'll be able to collapse those hairs and minimize the effect of them getting under your skin and causing a contact dermatitis type situation. Now, we do grow and harvest stinging nettle, but we are not to the point yet where we're harvesting enough. So this is an herb that I consistently buy. The last time I purchased stinging nettle, I was reaching in, because typically when it's dry, you don't have the sting anymore. But I was reaching in and pulling it out, and I did have some sting on my hands. So occasionally that can still happen. I did look it up because I'm like, what is going on? I've never had this happen before. That can happen sometimes. It is not very common, but it can happen. So just be aware, even if you are purchasing dried nettle, that you should probably still use some like nitrile gloves or something, your dish gloves or something, just to clean dish gloves to handle your nettle and put everything in jars when you're storing them. So we've talked about the benefits that it can have on anemia and on weakness and how it helps build up your blood. A side effect of that, I guess you could call it, would be an increase of your blood pressure. So if you also, it's very common for people that are chronically anemic to have low blood pressure. So if that's you, you will see that help correct your blood pressure. It's also super helpful in types of inflammatory arthritis. That's why it's one of my favorites. And it is really helpful in arthritis like gout. Gout is a type of arthritis. Now, the reason gout is an issue is because of the amount of uric acid in your body. So if you're intaking certain foods that are high in uric acid and you have been diagnosed with gout, you are going to have a flare. So stinging nettle helps to break down and expel the excess uric acid that is being held inside your body to help decrease the chances of you having a gout flare. And the most commonly used reason for nettle in our family is the benefits, aside from me, because I use it for all of the things, but it is to pair it with a herb that can help with allergies. So the most common combination for us is goldenrod and nettle. That is really helpful with fall allergies and indoor allergies. It's like the magic combination, because stinging nettle is an anti-allergenic, anti-inflammatory, and antihistamine herb. So all of the things that would be massively beneficial if you are dealing with allergy flares, allergic asthma, any kind of major inflammation happening like through the sinuses, your eyes, your throat, all of that you suffer with allergies, nettle, definitely an herb that you can add to another herb or you can take by itself. Super, super, super helpful with allergies. Those 5 herbs are the herbs that our family uses the most to help with stress, to help with changes in the season, changes of life, changes in general. All of the things that can induce stressful situations, those are the herbs that we go to first. So in the description box below, I'm going to put links to all of the things that I've mentioned here. So if you're interested in any of those, don't forget to check them out. Also, I do have a blog post out that talks more about these herbs and how they could be really beneficial for you and some ways that you could use them in your daily life. So if you haven't yet subscribed, I want to invite you to hit the subscribe button and that little notification bell so you can stay up to date on the videos we put out. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.